Sun and Snaps is a wellness platform that is based in nature where we get to tap into our creative to connect with ourselves and with nature that is around us. It provides healing spaces as well as creative outlets for you to ground, to embody, and to exist. Like, I love being able to introduce my friends to these conversations because these are not like brand new conversations. We have talks like this on a regular basis whenever we meet and come together. And Fabi is doing amazing work. And we infuse somatic breath work, forest immersion, sound therapy, aromatherapy, engaging all of the senses to assist you on that journey. Fabi took part in this experience, and so we're going to hear about her journey with deeper experience. And we're also going to learn a little bit more about her. So, Fabi, go ahead and share with us what you do with Mén Beni Gardening and how did you get into that?
Okay, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I am honestly grateful whenever I think about my friends and my friend circle and how amazing all of us are and how we support each other energetically and physically and emotionally, and I am so grateful to have people around me who have emotional and spiritual intelligence. So I have to
Mm.
um, the work that I do through Mén Beni, I have to do my introduction because I have people walk up to me to be like, I know who you are.
Yeah, I
Just
love it.
so this feels really good, and it feels like the same way I feel about it when I say it, it is being received in that way. Okay,
Yes.
so here we go. Hi, my name is Fabi. I am the founder of Mén Beni Gardening, where we renew, reconnect, and reawaken mind, body, and spirit through self, community, and the environment. So
I love when you say that. And I love that you have such a beautiful intro. It's consistent and
Mhm.
concise and fun. So like thank you for sharing that and inspiring me because you have been an inspiration in a lot of the work that I've been doing, especially recently. You started your 10 new series through Mebony Gardening, and that has been such a beautiful door opener and opportunity for me to step into teaching in a different realm in a different way and teaching things that I love, like stuff that has brought me income, but also things that have brought me joy, that have centered me, that have been meditative. And I'm really grateful to be able to share that with community. How did you get to the concept of Tenu within Mebony Gardening?
Well, just to preface, Tenu means our land. And so the first year that I started my organization, I did an environmental summit. During that environmental summit, it was a 1 day, couple of hours, a panel discussion on Black futurism when it comes to the environmental space. And so a lot of us don't have those conversations. So I was like, we need to talk about the environment. We need to envision ourselves in the future. We need to understand the decisions that we make now, how do they impact the future?
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a title for it. I just knew what I had was that container. The following year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do another panel discussion, but I want to add workshops into it. I want to have dialogue. What does that look like for a community? What does it look like for us to really dive deeper into these conversations? So I hosted another one, which became an all day event, and it had different workshops. We had food giveaway, we had hurricane prepared kits, we had Haitian food, and the conversation was around AI and these data centers and how they impact us, and how we as the people need to be aware of our biometrics and how important to have autonomy over ourselves in this world that's being created. We also had workshops to teach people mantras, how to do basic cooking, have basic leaves and things that grow in their backyard abundantly that they can actually eat. And so there were so many different workshops happening. We had on the ground knowledge because we were based in Overtown, of the land and honoring of the land. And so I was extremely grateful for it. But what I learned from that is that it was too much in 1 day. And so it was too much and not enough. And so I needed to provide more structured information. And then I needed to do this more frequently so that we could create this rhythm with the community of teaching them and inspiring them and showing them how these things impact their everyday lives. And so fast forward, like I got to turn Tenu into a workshop. And so I thought about, how do I activate the senses? How do I go through each chakra? How do I amplify the work and the relationship that we have with nature and with our communities and our lineage, and how it all ties in? And sometimes having to reframe our relationship around that, right? To
Mm.
how much power we have.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with 10 new workshops, and this is the Rooted series. And my goodness, I always, when I envision these things, I always see my friends in those roles, right? But what happens is that because of how business oriented I can be at times, I realize that it can be overwhelming for people, everything that it entails to get to this space. And so I thought about you. I've been admiring you and your work and your scent profiles. I used to be a Cartier girl all day. Then let me go and save my little coins so I can get the oil. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying top dollar, and I really wasn't 100% sure of the ingredients inside of the container.
Commercial. Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to, I don't know who mentioned it to me. I think it was Fab, the other Fab C, who who has a gym, and I was working out at her gym, and she had your perfume there. My God, my God. I was like, who makes this? Who is this person? Blah 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 blah. Then I had met you previously at the Galentine's event. Uh,
Yes.
I met you at Galentine's, and then from there, like you just kept popping up, and I was like, yeah, I need something. We have an exchange to happen. And so when I did this workshop, it it really, it was like, how do I help my friends amplify the work that they do in an environmental way, in an easy way, in an experience way? Like I have
Mm-hmm.
experience in this, and I do believe that my knowledge is shareable. And so I'm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let me bring them in. I Here's what I want. Are you
Yeah.
down? My vision. Are you down? I'll do X, Y, and Z. You do X, Y, and Z, and let's see where this lands, because I feel like this is a good container.
And I
And
was down.
yeah, yeah, everybody was down. Everybody was excited. We did your incense workshop, which, oh my God, we ended up having to roll that back twice. We did our indigo dye workshop, which, when we talk about the work that people do, what they decide to go to college for, and to see people
Yeah.
who really took a risk, understand
Yeah.
that they're hitting on community, and being able to bring that person in to say, I want you to showcase your work and your artwork.
Mm-hmm.
We in the community find value in it.
Yeah.
Um, and then when we came back and knocked them over the head with the perfume making workshop, baby, I'm telling you, like, you can't make it up. You can only
Mm.
dream of it in so much of the reality, like with a tiny glimpse, but you don't know how it's going to feel. You don't know how it's
Yeah.
going to be received. You don't know what
Yeah.
type of opening it is. And throughout this, you're nervous. Like, this is a new space. This is expansion. And so there's this uneasy feeling of the unknown. And yet
You know
we're
what? Let me say this though, because when I went to the Tenu Summit and it was amazing. And like, I hope everybody can see that we're both in garden space. Like we are in our natural garden spaces, like, because we're not new to this. We are true to this.
Ashe.
And
Yes.
and so being on that land and surrounded by the greenery, and you had like the food rescue that was there with groceries for community. It was so beautiful to be in a space that was so in alignment with the path that I'm already on. So when you approached me to do the workshop, I was already creating perfumes and I already had experience with that. And I had started my own workshop series, but it was with photography. I was like, because it's you, because I've seen the work that you do, I could trust that, okay, you know what? This is going to be something. So for me, it wasn't so much nerves. I didn't really have nervousness because it was you. Because I
Mm,
could trust that what you're bringing to the table is going to come to fruition and it's going to have beautiful and amazing people, which it has every single time. So own that, girl, because you create amazing spaces. I mean, let's like, girl, even the Mother's Day Manger avec nous freaking event, fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And for our community specifically, IET, you know what I'm saying? Like putting that on the forefront, having it during Haitian Heritage Month and the Haitian Flag Day weekend, or rather for Mother's Day weekend. It was just so beautiful. So I have faith in that if you build it, they will come. You are the embodiment of that.
Oh, oh my God. I received. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't make me cry.
I didn't expect to cry. Oh my
It's
God.
okay. I'm just saying that, but like
Oh
I really
my
do
God.
feel and believe that, and I'm grateful that you received it that way. Yeah,
People don't know what it takes to do production. People
girl.
know the ups and downs to creation and
Yeah.
make things come together, and the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows and the pushback that not only happens with outside influences but within. And so, you know, putting on these events, I didn't realize how much of my spirit it takes that I give willingly and that I put my heart into this work. And so when I am seen, it is it is so like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. Like Manger avec moi started off with the idea of I don't have a lot, but I know I'm abundant. And I know that if I don't have it, I have people around me who have it. And so I trust that everything works out in my favor. I trust that
Ashe.
I will be at the right place at the right time for the right
Ashe.
people to meet me, whether
Mhm.
I'm them or they're blessing me. And so when
Mhm.
I mean, it sounds like, if you've never stepped out on faith, if you've never stepped out with, I am moving in a space of unknown, but I trust with my whole body,
Mhm.
my spirit. Let me tell you something. Sometimes these things will knock you on your ass and make and question you. And you
Yeah.
know that story of Peter on in the boat and walking on water to go to
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
If that is not a visual of how you have to be, have so much audacity to put your blinders on and to be like, yeah, but no, I hear what you're saying, but you ain't got, no, I know
Right.
where price is at. To stay
Right.
head focused, um, it takes a lot of power, audacity. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of support. It takes a lot of emotion. And so, where I've been finding myself with this type of events is to give myself grace to sit down and to rest and to receive and to move slower, because that recovery too can have its challenges. And when I don't listen, right, it's the same
Mhm.
that brought me to this space of needing to rest, needing to heal, needing to connect with nature, needing to connect with my community, is that I gave so much and I didn't give
Mhm.
my pause. I didn't give myself a moment. And so these are constant reminders that the work is going to be done. The people are going to show up. They're going to love it. And you have to give yourself permission to rest. So,
Absolutely. That is definitely a message because, I've worked in production for over a decade now, and I re-entered the space on the event side, and watching colleagues and friends like yourself and other people in the industry really putting their work forward and putting their best foot forward. It really does come down to faith. Like I have one woman who's a friend of mine who's in the production industry doing amazing things in the wedding and luxury event space, and I've known her for like a decade, over a decade, and I remember her beginnings. but it's because she had faith. And she reached out to me in her beginnings. We started doing a lot of the media production together.
Mm,
So to see her growth and where she is now, to speak to what you were saying, it's about that faith. It's about, you may not know what the outcome is going to be. You may not know how it's going to happen, but you hold the vision that was given to you, that was birthed within you, that was conceived within you, and you bring it to life one step at a time. And you're going to wake up, as you, it's going to knock you on your ass when you're like, oh my God, I really created this. I
mhm,
really was able to do this and continue to do it. That faith and that trusting of one's wisdom, capacity, abundance, and community is super important. And
mm.
also, as you said, after the fact, when you're doing this type of work, when you're producing, and it's a lot of energy work, it's a lot of energy that goes into putting it together, to during, before, during, and then after, to integrate, to rest, to give yourself that space to be held and supported, and to release whatever that needs to be released. Which brings me to deeper experience, because you took the initiative to step into a space, to be held, to be received. So share with me what your deeper experience was, and why did you say yes?
Ooh, deeper experience. First of all, safe spaces for healers are very rare. When
Mm.
you are a person who heals and shows up for community, you have to be aware of where is a safe space for you to heal. Not that we have anything to hide, but we understand the importance of the roles that we play. And it's just, I think certain people are not privy to that and shouldn't be, because those are private parts, right, of healing and vulnerability. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've known your work, always trusted, and even your voice is calming. Even your voice is like, you know what I'm saying? It's just very soothing, and it makes me want to rest and be at ease. And so when you were doing deeper experience, I remember when the first one went by, I was like, man, I would love to do something like this. Let spirit guide me. And you opened up another one, and I was like, I'm coming to this one. It was close to my house, and I was like, you know what, let me go support my friend, let me drop some coins in that, let me bring something, and showed up. We started with the cacao in the coconuts. We had the water and the lake and the weather and the people. Everybody bought something without even knowing, not even being told. Everybody bought a gift to this. I showed up, and I was like, okay, we're going through the motions. Like, can you be free? Can you relax? Do you trust the people within the circle? Do you trust the vibes? Does this feel right? On our path, there was another random lady who was doing readings. We sat at her table. We sat there, had conversations with her, and just her whole vibe was like, I am the gatekeeper. You're welcome to sit and have an experience. Are you ready? Like, it felt like one of those, like, ethereal, if I were write it into a book, you know? You have the tree, and then you have the woman sitting there in meditation, waiting for you to give you this riddle, right?
That's hilarious. That's how you know she's a reader.
Yeah, it came in in the home, and then so when we made it in, I felt like the way you guided us, the fact that we had masculine energy in the space, gave it balance, and I just had to trust. Once I made it past that lady, then I was going to be held, and I was going to be supported, and that nothing, I needed to fear of nothing, and to like leave everything right there. And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very interesting, to be held. It's very interesting because as a healer, as a community worker, you don't realize how much you hold on to or you pick up, that starts to affect you. Our exchanges energetically are real, even though we can't see them, but they do have physical and spiritual, impacts on us. You think about social media, and your reach is 10,000 people. 10,000 people? got to see you. Do you know how much energy that is? Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
wow. And then imagine those 10,000 people in a room with you, or
Right.
those 500 people that show up that are in a room with you, and all of these people are
Mm-hmm.
energy with you, and then they go and exchange energy again outside of that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And so being able to put my blindfolders on, I think that helped me out a lot because I tend to want to see. And so not having the
Mm.
see forced me to go more inward,
Yeah.
um, and let it out, like let it out. And it
Yeah.
felt like, a rolling of energy. And I had to really, I don't know, something about me that's always feeling like I'm giving birth.
You kept saying that.
Yeah, it just felt like, dog, I gotta let this baby out. Whether it's a baby of like pain or hurt or love and peace, like whatever it is, I gotta let it out. I gotta let it out vocally, and just to get personal, right? I'm about to get really personal. Um, my gut feels everything, and
Mm.
so what happens is that for me, when it's too much, I become constipated. um
Okay.
and and it doesn't matter, like, I think I have a pretty good diet, how much water I drink. This is my physical indicator of I'm
Yeah.
holding on. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I did deeper experience, at one point I was rotating like this, and I believe it was Shay came and did Reiki on me.
Yeah.
Kid, she went directly. Nobody, like, I didn't tell her I'm feeling it here. She went directly to where I was and started chanting where I felt the blockage, and started
Mm-hmm.
chanting and chanting and chanting. And I could feel it. It felt like a burp. It felt like gas. It felt like air coming up. And then finally I let it out. I screamed and
Mm-hmm.
let it out. And then I broke down and I felt everything. I was in my body. I was physically, emotionally, spiritually there, and I felt safe enough to do that.
Yeah.
The only reason why I knew it was Shay was because I felt her energy. It's like I knew her energy, but I couldn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew when somebody touched me who it was. And then what is the gentleman's name? The big panda. What's his name?
Corey. Corey.
Corey. Corey came in and he was giving us direction, and I felt so led. Usually, a lot of the work that we do is with women, is women led,
Mm-hmm.
and so to have a man be so vocal and his voice is so strong that it empowered me as well to,
Yeah.
like, nah, don't pussyfoot this. Like, you can't come in with soft energy. You got to show the warrior in you and let it out. Man, I went home. I went to sleep. And right before I went to sleep, I used the bathroom and just felt such relief. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I really let some shit go.
Literally and figuratively. No, but that's real because I think that's actually a really good example of how, when there is energy that is stored in the body, how that can manifest physically, how that can show up physically. And so I
Hmm.
think that for some people, they might feel like it's, woo woo, or there's nothing really to it, or there's no science to it. However, there really is, especially when you speak to how Shay was able, and she's an amazing facilitator, really
You
tapped in
can't
and
even,
so energetically powerful.
you can't even dream and make her up as a character. She just shows up, like, you're like, oh wow, I wasn't thinking big enough. I wasn't thinking high enough. Her
Mm,
story and how she got into healing. I honor people who are passionate about the work that they do, because I
yeah.
feel when you can show up that way, the way
Hmm.
you is the way you do everything. And
Yeah.
so if you show up that way for yourself, it's like understanding love. You can
Hmm.
only to the capacity you love yourself.
Yeah.
You can only treat me to the capacity of the way you treat yourself. And so whatever she's offered herself, she's able to offer it to us as well, and it is so received. It is so received. And so when I see people who move in that way, it empowers me to think like Beyonce. And so when Beyonce does something, she then challenges Beyonce to say, okay, now you did it, what's next? And I think
Absolutely.
that's the embodiment of, like, yeah, I did this. What did I learn from this experience? how can I do better? And I feel like I see that in your work. I see that in your work because you've only gotten better. I was just looking at one of the pictures. So listen, just so you're not saying like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was about to write on there, this is my ancestors. Look,
Oh,
no, hold on. Y'all need to see the faces. Like, this is the ancestors that said, yep, that's my girl, right?
yeah,
This one is the one that says, hold up, I got this. I got
yeah,
this,
yeah.
right? Hold on. This is the other one that says, oh, you messing with my cousin? Okay? And then this is the higher self saying, I'm gonna let you, you got this. Hold on. You got this. Holding Oshun's hand. Girl.
Listen, yeah,
Hold on. And it gets better, right? And then these are the angels that are showing us the way. God did. When I say I was literally getting ready to put all that together, because I'm like, and what's amazing about that is that you captured that. Your work is amazing. Your work visually shows us how you see us, and with this freaking photo, you can't deny the amazing talent and vision of a woman who can see this. So, asking you
I
to
give thanks.
do Tenu and to do your incense workshop and to do your perfume workshop was an easy ask. It was an
Thank
easy,
you.
yeah. I wish I could give you an award. You know what I'm saying?
So thank you. Thank you for recognizing that, for sharing that, and for, again, being present, being so attuned, listening, the awareness, um, and like almost even the selflessness, to show up for yourself, to recognize these things, to share these beautiful words, and for the alignment. I love synchronicity. I love me a good synchronicity. Okay. I love me a good synchronicity. So, um, yeah, I put up that post this morning because I was like, okay, it's Lionsgate. I didn't plan it. I was like, let me just go ahead and put that post up. And even when I look at that photo, I am also transported as well. Like every time I see it, it takes me somewhere else. And it's just really beautiful that I was able to capture like past, present, and future.
Yeah,
Even the children that came, I wasn't expecting to have kids that day, but it still worked really beautifully and in alignment with just the energy of the day. And Lionsgate portal, coming back today, I'm looking at those pictures and I was just thinking about how, remember who you are. Remember the strength that you have and the power that is within you. Remember all of these things. And I think it was just a recollection and a reclamation that I was like, let me go ahead, because I was going to post something else. I was actually going to post a clip from other conversations for Let's Talk Deeper, but I was like, let me share that photo. And
yeah,
so I'm glad that it resonated,
yeah.
and that
It
you
came.
that you see it and recognize it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, whoa, what did I just witness? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that magic only comes through when you're able to be open to receive it. And so these are like, when we talk about what our point of measurement is, it's like one of the questions I want to know that can be answered is like, what type of impact do I want to have? How
Mm-hmm.
show up. I remember just the other day I had a conversation with my son and I said to him, I always thought about in the 60s, who would I have been during that time period when the revolution,
Mm,
who would I have been during the revolution? Who would I have been during all of these big changes where your spiritual compass has to be open and directed,
mm,
right? And I looked at him and I said, we are the movement. We are part of the movement. We are the change makers in the movement. We are surrounded by amazing, positive people who are showing up in such strong
mm-hmm.
ways. And I had to tell them like, your protest doesn't always need to be in the streets. Like
Mm-hmm.
your protest can show up in so many different ways that you have
Mm-hmm.
powerful it is. I know how powerful this work is because when I look to people like you, when I look to people like Vanessa, and to the men who are doing the work, I'm so honored and proud and grateful to be on this side. We are all
Yeah.
We all hold a role. We all hold a key that is an opening for a bigger portal, a bigger vision. And some of us can see it and some of us can't. And so on that journey, we
Sure.
have to be able to say, hey, you want to come? You want to have an
Hmm.
experience? You want to see how I live my life? You want to see the
Hmm.
good side? You want to see the other options? You want to dare to live?
Listen, that's such a transcendental way to look at oneself and to look at the journey, to say like, who would I have been
Mm-hmm.
in the revolution? And for whoever is sitting with that question, to ask yourself, who would you have been 40, 50, 60, 120 years
Mm-hmm.
back? How would you show up in the space? And the answer can only be answered in how you are existing today, because it would
Mm-hmm.
be a reflection of that.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly the hope in our incarnations is to continue to grow and acquiesce. But again, like, who would you be? That's really a beautiful way to be insightful and to look at oneself and to either shift or continue on one's journey, and to reflect and see who you are. Like, who are you showing up as? Today is who you would have been then and who you will
Mm-hmm.
be tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think, I have friends who are on the side of like, we don't want to record anything. We want to make sure we're safe. We want to make sure that with this, so no phones, no iPads, no this, no that. And I believe that the story needs to be told. We cannot leave the storyteller to only be the headhunter or and not the lion. We need to be the person that tells the story. And the only way we
Mm-hmm.
tell the story and to keep the truth is to tell the story, is to record,
Yeah.
is to document. And so
Yeah.
without the photos from the Black Panther movement, without the pictures painted of Toussaint Louverture and what happened in the revolution in Haiti, without the storytellers keeping the story alive through food, through conversation, through storytelling in so many different ways, we would not we would not understand how powerful we are,
Yeah.
and so
This
I
is
want
so true.
yeah, I want to be a part of that. I want to be the unconventional woman who shows up
Mm-hmm.
in authenticity and is comfortable in her skin and is comfortable around people and in nature in all spaces that she wants, because who finna stop her?
I'm thinking of the meme, and who's gonna stop me?
Like, à la fréquence, like,
Unstoppable. Like, no, because, and you know what? Because to be frank, that is how our ancestors had to maneuver within the revolution. They had to be unstoppable. They had to be willing to, it's life or death, liberty or death. Like, they were unstoppable, which is why they were able to win their revolution. They didn't let the the daunting numbers and the people that were against them stop them from gaining their liberation, from gaining their freedom.
mm-hmm,
20,000 against 5,000, that didn't mean nothing to them. What meant the most to them was their birthright, which was freedom, which was
yeah,
liberty.
yeah, ashe, ashe,
Hmm.
ashe, ashe,
Yes.
ashe, ashe, ashe. We powerful, powerful, powerful.
And like, for like your experience, when I recall during your deeper experience, it's watching you release and seeing you shed. First of all, I always find deep gratitude and fulfillment in being able to witness these moments of people releasing and actively healing. And I remember after you shared how you were grateful to be able to be given the space to open up and to shed and to release and to cry out whatever was necessary to move your body in order to move the stagnant energy,
Mm,
to dislodge what was buried in your body. And I think that speaks to just the healing process in general. Like Corey likes to say, you have to feel it to heal it. And oftentimes, we have been conditioned to just bear down and take the oppression, to take whatever is being forced on us or whatever is happening around us, when it's like, no, I don't have to take this. And
mm-hmm,
so however that expression is supposed to show up, and there's many ways for it to be expressed, and for creatives it's expressed in so many ways, with the writing, with painting, with drawing, with singing, with dancing. many ways to express it, but within deeper experience, specifically for what is either we're carrying from our own journeys or what we might be carrying from even before, right? Considering the past that our ancestors have, it's ah, you
Yeah.
know, and that sound and movement carries with it that stored energy. It brings it up and it allows you to release it. And you shared how you're talking about Corey and how he works, and everybody loves Corey. I love Corey. He's amazing. His energy is so great. And I remembered how you shared that, you know, you said something to the effect of it takes the right person to facilitate what you were able to experience. What was different for you in that experience?
When we talk about masculine energy can come with sexual energy. It can come with, especially for women, just because of our relationship with men from a young age, not including our fathers, not including the men who are our brothers or cousins, but just
Mm-hmm.
outside, period, just men in general. And so, not all of us feel safe,
Mm-hmm.
not all of us feel protected. And so to be able to, for him to ask me for permission before he touched me, and then to hold on to me in a way, it was like, I got you. I needed that. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, my friends are very soft, and some of us are, but it's just completely different because now it felt like a balance. Like my softness and his masculine energy came in, and it held me in a way that only a man could hold me. But it held me in such
Mm-hmm.
a protective way. It held me in such a safe way that it was like, I got you, girl. I got you. Let's go. It wasn't like, I got you, go lay down. No, I got you, and go ahead and just be soft. And no, I
Mm-hmm.
got you. You gotta get through this moment. I can't go there for you, but I'm gonna hold you in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Have the strength to be able to do it, but I got you. Let's go,
Mm-hmm.
man. I can't even watch the videos. I cannot even watch the videos because it opens up so much energy in me. I feel it. I
Yeah.
feel, and so I be like, I love you. I don't know how you hold such a big container. I don't know how you hold such an emotional container, but now
Mm.
you have the right people on your team, right? You are the right person.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you have to understand how powerful that is. C'est pas like
Ashe.
c'est pas like this like that. Like,
Ashe. No, I receive it and I accept it. It's something that I had to accept about myself. Not so much learn. I think I knew that I was strong. I never saw it as powerful per se, apart from like imaginative when I was younger. In this is my childhood home, and so I remember growing up in this backyard. I read so many books, and I was like deeply creative and imaginative. Like I lived in this realm. Um, and I would be in the backyard with my sister and my cousins, and we would play, and we would just imagine the different worlds that we were in and play those out as characters. And we used to have this beautiful, large banyan tree, and I used to climb that tree and just imagine being in other worlds. So I knew that there was definitely something within me, and there was a reason why I was so imaginative and would immerse myself in these other realms and worlds. But in my adulthood, I had to accept that, yeah, you are powerful. And it helped that people would tell me, like random people would be like, yo, you're so powerful. So hearing that affirmation assisted me to begin to recognize that, and then actually going through certain things, recognizing things that I have gone through, that I have survived, that I have lived through, that I have healed, really helped me to integrate the knowing that I really am powerful. And so, how can I hold that container? And I know that I have the container because I'm so powerful. So, because I'm so powerful, I am able to hold these containers and to to also express and to exude in a way that that energy can be transmuted, alchemized, directed, whatever it is that I call for it to be, that all of that lies within me. So thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you for
I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you clear. I see you. I see you with my eyes closed. I see your energy force. Like I said, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of the work. I'm so proud when you decided to quit your job that was stressing you the hell out and chose to take, a risk with yourself. I always say that if you can work for somebody else and wake up every day, imagine what it would be like if you really put your time and energy to something that belongs to you. And so I've witnessed you through this whole cycle, and to witness you as you're elevating into this next dimension of work. Petit, yo gila pose se blage nag blage, but the love is real. You know what I'm saying? The love is real. It shows
I
the way
appreciate
up
you,
feel
girl.
full. We feel full. Like
No, for sure.
I
And,
hope.
and you know what? That
Mm-hmm.
was one of those things where I had to recognize, one of those things that I had to reflect on. I had the reminder, and as you were sharing before, how your body, when you're under stress, you feel constipation. Like that's how your body signals to you. For me, my gut as well. Like I will know, my body will signal to me when something is misaligned, when something is no longer working. And I'm not going to stay in a situation just for the money. So
Yeah.
that period of leaving that job, that was a really deeply learning experience for me to truly learn how to trust and also not define myself by the money that I have coming in or what's in my bank account. It's like, who are you stripped away from all of these things? I do want to touch on your your spiritual journey and just how all of that came to bring you here. If you could just like, briefly talk about that.
Okay. I have no problem sharing my story, right? Because I feel like when you share your story, especially your healing journey, it gives other people permission to show up for themselves and to face themselves. And it also gives them the opportunity to give themselves grace. So for my right before my 40th birthday, I worked in the construction industry and I found myself to be a functioning alcoholic. And what does that mean? That means that I was high functioning, got things done, but at the same time, I was just going through too many bottles of not just liquor but wine, mainly wine.
Mhm.
And I would, if I wasn't getting where I was going, I needed to add liquor to it. And so my husband at the time mentioned to me like, "Hey, you're drinking way too much." I'm like, "You don't know me, my G. Don't tell me what to do. You don't know my life.
That is your phrase. You love to say that. You don't know me.
You know me." And and so he was like, the best way is not to argue with me.
Mm.
Don't argue with me. I'm a visual person." And so he was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Say less." He stopped cleaning out the bottles. And once he stopped cleaning out the bottles, I started to realize, he said, I don't know where I went into one of the cabinets and I opened it up and I go, "Oh my God, who drank all this wine?" And he goes, "You, by yourself. And this is less than 2 weeks."
Oh,
Girl,
wow.
I wasn't even drinking that much water. I was
Wow.
drinking that much water. And so
Mm-hmm.
having to face that was embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way my body was feeling, it was like everything coordinated at the right time because I was
Okay.
open. I was open for that change after seeing that. And so he made a deal with me. Hey, every time you get out of work, instead of you just jumping right into doing things for the family, I'm going to make you a mango smoothie and you can go and sit outside for a good 20, 30 minutes before you come back in. And so I'd go out in my backyard and ritualistically I would go. I'd walk in, he'd put it in a champagne or wine glass. I'd be like, "Thank you." Go to the backyard and that's how I took notice to my backyard. And so I started to document every time I bought a plant and things like that. And so it just became like a ritual for me, to where I didn't need the smoothie anymore, to where I'm now 7 years sober, to
Mm-hmm.
now, going in my garden and having all the plants lean into me and me feeling that energetically and feeling the peace and saying that I know that if I'm receiving this and I'm feeling this, that there's more people out there who need this. I can't be the only person that needs this type of healing. And to look at where I am um, in my drinking journey, and to know that I can probably say 7 years. I don't have cravings. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
no
I witnessed it. Like you steadfast. Okay, I have witnessed it steadfast.
yeah. And I mean, I be loving watching people have fun, but I feel like I had fun back in the days for a lifetime. And so I can love that for them,
Hmm.
but that's not my journey. And so to
Yeah.
go through that, plus all of the training that I did with Queen Afua's Sacred Woman journey, my own healing and ancestral knowledge, and remembering how my grandmother used to do certain things, all of these things came alive. And one day I had a dream. I love talking about this dream because it was so bountiful that I purchased a
Okay.
house. While I purchased the house, me and my mom are in this dream, and I'm looking at the plans of the house. And there's this big empty space with nothing on it next to the house. And so my mom goes, "What's that?" And I'm like, let's go look outside to see. It's probably nothing. We go outside in the dream. We go outside, and that empty space is land that we own. And basically, it's a
Mm.
and right over it, it has the name. I couldn't see it clearly, but my mom started saying, "Ooh, Mén Beni, Mén Beni, Mén Beni, Mén Beni," and she started loué in the dream, give praises in the dream, and saying, she kept saying, "Mén Beni, Mén Beni." When I looked back at the archway, it said Mén Beni on it, and I woke up not knowing what was going to be of this, and I was like, "Ooh, let me put this as a business name, Mén Beni." And I woke up, went on Sunbiz, and wrote it down, and incorporated it as a business and let it sit there. And through one of my moments of downloads, I started to cry as I sat in the garden and watched and witnessed butterflies go through their metamorphosis process. And I connected that with the women in our lives who lose their light, who give up their light, who give up their
Mm.
power for family, for children, for marriage, for men, um, and had empathy for them, to say to myself, what would they have been if they understood how powerful each of these transformations are, and how
Mm.
that the life cycle goes like this, and that they need to be very powerful for themselves as well. And so
Mm-hmm.
garden came to me after like weeks of, I'm talking about like every day I'd come out, I'd see it, I'd think about it, and I would cry. And I was like, I finally told one of my friends, and she was like, "You need to turn that into a program. You need to, how
Mm.
quantify that? How would you teach women how to love themselves? How would you connect them back into nature? How would you do all these things?" And asking myself the question, how does that show up in a way that's tangible and digestible? How do I do better? I started taking classes and workshops that were free, incorporating my background in construction and organization skills, reaching out to people, telling people my story,
Mm-hmm.
and intentional with how I was showing up, and them giving me really good advice, and really
Mm-hmm.
putting actionable steps
Yeah.
behind what I wanted to do. For me, the actionable steps brought me here. The actionable steps and the intention every day and not being scared to tell my story brought me here.
And like
Yeah.
you said, like you have to, it's a fear that has to be conquered. I think when, especially when you're as a leader and as someone who is in the healing space, and just because of human nature, you have to be able to share your story. There can't be a fear in sharing your story. Otherwise, how are you really helping people to heal if you can't even talk about how you got there? How are they supposed to trust that you know what you're talking about if you're not sharing your story? I'm not saying that everything has to be told and you have to divulge and, open up the closet door. But I think that there are lessons from what one has experienced that has to be shared in order for somebody to see that, you know what, if you can, I can.
My story, I don't feel like is unique. I think it's just inspiring, because I've been
Inspiring it is.
Yeah, I've been able to get past the fear of the unknown. And
Mm-hmm.
even when I haven't crossed over the threshold yet, I'm still nervous, but I'm still crossing over. There's no,
Mm-hmm.
there's no, yeah, the feeling of doubt may exist there, but it does not move my body. I make the
Yeah.
decision on how I'm not debilitated by fear.
Mind you, while you were talking and sharing your story, I loved hearing the wood wind chimes in the background. It was like a confirmation, a nice bell to be like, yes, yes, yes. So that's one of
Mhm.
the things that's amazing about being in nature. And the fact that, both of the work that we're doing is very much aligned. So I thank you for taking part, for creating your space, for doing the work that you're doing, for participating in the work that I am doing, for opening up space for us to partner, to collaborate, not just myself and you, but others as well. And thank you for joining me for Let's Talk Deeper and having this really profound conversation. If you guys want to follow Fabi, go ahead and share your handle and what you have coming up.
You can find me at Mén Beni Gardening. That is MEnBeni Gardening on IG and on Instagram. I mean, on IG and on TikTok. Right now, we have some amazing things coming up. We are doing a collaboration with the Clio Institute with their ERW resilience, empowering resilience for women, and our Papillon in the Garden. And we're going to be operating out of a garden in Pompano. We are getting ready to launch our Racine Retour, Return to the Roots program, where we are doing conversational Creole in Little Haiti. And it's 5 workshops. You have to make it, you can only miss one, but you have to attend 4 workshops consecutively. And we are doing conversational Creole in alignment with environmentalism and civic duty and empowering people to understand the land. And as Mén Beni grows, we have all of these community offerings that I'm really grateful for, and honored to be able to hold space and present it to the community. So thank you so much for this interview and giving me time and space and energy to speak on the work that I do and the love that I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you. And for everybody watching, I know you were able to gain something from this conversation that we had in whatever part. For whomever the message resonates, we see you. Thank you, and you make it a great day.